we go. We got Mama Duck in the building.
Hey, y'all, what's up? Shine with your handsome self.
Yo, I appreciate it. You've done a lot of you've been creating a lot of waves on the blog sites, man. And one thing I can really say that I love about what you're doing, you're standing up and you're getting the justice that you deserve.
Thank you. I wish more mothers would have the energy to do it as well, because these are our babies, and I don't care what the circumstances are. No mom should have to go through what I'm experiencing, because that's not what God intended for it to be. So the fact that I'm still able to sit in front of you and talk, look like I ain't got a worry in the world, do I? That is God. That is God you see coming through me, that's sitting me up. That's because I have my days, say cheese, like to where I don't want to move. I don't want to face the world. I don't want to see nothing. But it's just that little gnat in me that just get on up and keep me going within me. So that's, a lot of people ask me all the time, how do you do it? I don't know.
Hmm. Before we get started on, all the tragedies and things that occurred over the last 3 to 5 years, let's talk about you raised 5 kids at once by yourself.
Um, well, the story behind that, like my grandma, she raised me, like I started having children at 15. And about time I was 22, I had 5 children. So if it wasn't for the where I come from, far as it's my grandmother and the help from my aunties and my uncles and my brothers and sisters, like I have a very big family, okay? So when you come from a home with 17 in a 3-bedroom house, you learn how to survive and struggle. Like Duck was taught.
17 people in a 3 bedroom
Yes,
house.
yeah. Apartment, not even a house, a
Crazy.
complex. Yeah, yeah. So
How, how do you get by? Are you where are you working at this time at 22
well,
years old?
currently this is my job until I'm able, because I haven't been able to work since 2008 due to um, my medical history, to where it won't allow me to work like a normal job. I can work. I want to work. Um, so I want to, like, it's not safe for in Chicago for me to get a job. So if I moved anywhere else, I probably can try to get a job, but with my anxiety and my post-traumatic stress disorder, like it's hard. Like I could sit and talk to you. I'm a people's person, but I get anxiety through the roof. And so it's very hard for me to like work with other people in a public environment. You know what I'm saying? Not that I don't want to work, but
Yeah, no, I'm talking about like when you were 22 years old, like when you were young and you had the 5 kids, like how were you
I
getting by then?
I was boosting my ass off, okay? And that's the only thing I ever been arrested for, besides a couple of fights. But I used to go in them people's stores and act like that shit was mine and get mad when they try to stop me from going out the door.
Mm,
And I'm like, you a store clerk, you ain't security, leave me alone. So that's the arrogance that I had. But in 1998, when I got arrested for retail theft, because that's how I took care of my kids, I would go in them people's stores and take their stuff. And I had Brick and Duck, Brick and the Dime dressed alike. Those my first 2 boys. And I had Duck and Will dressed alike. They Irish twins. They like 11 months apart. So
right.
I had literally stair steps, okay? So I would dress them alike. So every time I got these 12 outfits for Brick and Shell, and these 10 outfits for Duck and Wheel. So that's basically how I got by until I was arrested and ended up on a deck with a little Mexican lady who was getting extradited back to Mexico, for burning her baby in a microwave and feeding it to her husband.
Wow.
So when I realized that a little simple retail thefter like me is in the presence of someone like this, that scared me. So I vowed to never, I pay for penny candy now. I don't care if they don't see me. It's like I learned from that experience. So it taught me not to get arrested at all. Unless it's detriment, unless you really don't get arrested for no petty stuff. Because
How'd you get caught boosting?
well, I go in the store like literally 5 minutes. I'm coming out with 3 racks of clothes. So it's like, so this just one particular day. Cause we have been stealing from the store for like, we hit them like 4 times a month. And me not thinking like, okay, they going to these cameras. They just gonna wait on your ass to come back the next time. And that's what they did. They waited on me. And I'm walking through the door, and this man just came behind me and grabbed me. And I'm like, and the handcuffs was in one hand, and I didn't even try to run or nothing. I'm like, I'm caught. So the next time after that, I got arrested. It was in 2014. From 1998 to 2014, I avoid going to jail. And I wouldn't have never went to jail this last time if it wasn't for what I was going through with my twin's father and his other lady. So
Do you keep boosting after you get caught the first time, or
nah, it wasn't a
that's a
euphoria for me. It wasn't nothing that like those are kleptos. Anytime somebody, because a lot of people that's boosting, they doing it for the thrill now and for an income. Like, because people would rather give you $80 for 3 Nike jogger suits versus $80 for one in the store. You know what I'm saying? So it's very lucrative in Chicago, like
right?
the snatch and grab thing, and yeah.
So after you get caught boosting, do you go work a regular job? How are you providing for your
I
5
never
kids
had a
after you?
regular job. I didn't get a regular job until I got clean, which was in 2007. And I went to a shelter for 9 months. Saved my life. Shout out St. Martin de Plores. Little sweet old little lady named Sister Teresa saved my life. And from 2008, when I left the shelter, I stayed that's when I moved on 66 and Road. So that was the first time that I ever experienced having my own apartment, paying my own bills, the challenge of really being there for my kids because my grandmother was always a crux for me. Like she raised her kids, me, my kids, and it's like a generational thing. So when she got ill and it was to the point to where she couldn't take care of us anymore, I stood up to the plate and I got myself together and I got clean and um I heard a job at Village Food in High Park. This is the last job I had. And my manager used to mess with me all the time. It was like, you know, when you a little kid and you throw rocks at a girl you like, but you don't know how to tell them you like them. This is a whole, so he was nitpicking with me and I just had a nervous breakdown as I'm ringing up a customer. And I just grabbed my hair and I just started pulling, I'm screaming. So another manager had to grab me and I was literally shaking and I found out that I had a panic attack. So, but I still worked after that. I worked after that. And my son he vowed to me, Ma, you ain't never got to work again.
Duck.
Yes. He saw my struggle. He saw me beat drug addiction. I think that was the most accomplished thing that he was proud of me of because he never actually saw me indulge, but he saw the aftermath.
Right.
So, and the decisions that I made due to me choosing to live that life versus really being there for them. So,
Right. And do you remember how much you were making at that one job you had where you?
back then in 2008, I think I had made, because I was there for a whole year. I managed to have this job for a whole year, and that was also a big accomplishment because the last job I ain't had no more than 3 months, okay? So When I made it to my year mark and I got paid for my first vacation and I ain't have to work, I say, oh, I'm riding. I'm stumping with the big dogs now. I'm getting paid vacations now. So uh, I think I was at, because I think I started off at 625.
An hour.
Yes. And when I
Shit.
um, did my year, I think it got up to 750. So before I left, because now the store is closed down. It was like a market in Hyde Park of Chicago. I don't know if you knew about the area in Hyde Park, but
Hmm.
it was a store right there.
Okay. Now, 2017, FBG Brick, he passed away. Was him and his cousin?
Yes, Kobe.
Okay. And they were on 63rd and Lawrence.
St.
I get
Lawrence. St.
St. Lawrence.
Yes.
Can, can you take us through that day?
Well, that day is I was with my favorite cousin, Tiffany. Okay. And that day was kind of because the 15th was his baby shower for his son. He have two daughters already, but this was his first son. And he had went to Vegas, but he only came up here for that little time to have the baby shower. So the baby shower was on the 15th, and that was the last day that I seen him, July 15th. I didn't see him on the 16th, but I talked to him. I didn't see him. So on the 17th, the last thing I saw, he was working out on Snapchat. You know, Snapchat on the last. And it's so ironic because him and Kobe Snapchats were the same. They were both working out on their last Snapchats. So from what I heard, he wasn't gonna come outside that day. He was gonna stay in the house. But he had a friend that came and got him. And so he was saying, okay, you could take me to my old G house. You could take me to my mama house, right? So if he was coming out, he was going to my house. But whoever he got in the car with wound up taking him on 63rd. So he's out there on 63rd, and then my cousin walks up. I think my cousin was trying to sell a moped or something. So they were standing out there, and this block was full of people. And the story that I'm hearing was a car pulled up and asked for Duck. Like, yo, Duck out here. And everybody looking like, who is you? They didn't recognize who was in the car. But Brick knew who was in the car. And he linked in there. He was like, oh, what's up? And I kind of figured like, well, who was this person that Brick knew? And if they was on from 39th, Kobe would have knew him as well because Kobe didn't even know who they were because his words was like, who is you? You know what I'm saying? And after that took place, then that's when, from witnesses and people who have told me that supposed to been a car waiting in the back behind where they were standing. And then a car came up the one way and they instantly shot Kobe. And Brick tried to run and jump a gate and was shot in the back. And he was also, I'm assuming the way his autopsy report was that as he was running towards the back, somebody was back there waiting on him. So I wasn't aware that he was shot in his face until until I went to identify him. So I get the call. I was dropping my cousin off, and one of my mud daughters, she called me. She say, Sheena, Kobe is out here shot. He's not moving. He dead, but somebody say Brick is on the side of the house and he not moving. So I'm like, what? You know, I'm like, what's going on? So I panic and I rush to get there. And when I got there, I saw Kobe laid out in the front, but I didn't see Jermaine because he was like in the cut. So the police went let me go back there. And I can just remember trying to break through them polices to get to my son. I didn't want him to feel like he died alone, you know, and it's horrible as a parent to imagine your child's last moments and you're not there. So they kind of stuck on me. So before they pronounce him dead, you know how the police do. They have you on limbo out there just when they know that your loved one is gone. But I guess they're trying to figure out how they're going to tell you. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, what's wrong? And there was an ambulance in the back. So I'm still holding on to faith and hope. And I'm like, well, maybe they working on them. And by this time, Duck had made it he had made it there. And it's a video on YouTube. And I don't know who recorded me, but I'm screaming and I'm hollering and I'm like, they killed them. I'm hollering to his best friend, like, the bastard killed them. And I'm like, okay. So when Duck came and the police walked up to us, and it was his Rick's grandmother from his dad's side. She was there with me. And the police told me that they asked me to, like, do he have any tattoos or marks? And I explained, like, yes, he have a tattoo on his forehead. And that's how they let me know that that was my son that was in the gangway. And I fainted. Like, it was like my legs collapsed and I fainted and I fell into my grandma. I hit my head. I remember that, hitting my head real hard on the ground. And I can see them picking me up, and then Duck, he came, it went viral. It's a picture that he used in his Terrified video where I'm on the ground and he's hugging me and I'm in his ear. And I'm telling him, like, Duck, I need you. I don't need you doing nothing stupid. I say, your brother is gone. I need you. This is what I'm telling my son in his ear as he was embracing me at the scene. And he didn't say nothing. He just act on it. His ass went in that studio and made them them pain mixtapes, baby, and that was it. And then he made Slide, got notice. A week later, he was getting calls from the labels, and he signed. So my son, I don't care about what nobody else parent say about their kids. I know mine. And I know what they'll do and I know what they won't do. You know?
Do you think that situation, do you feel like it was a setup? Did it get solved?
No, it hasn't got solved. And it's so many, because the streets be talking. So it's so many circumstances behind what happened to my son. And eventually it will get solved because the way these police are working here, they trying to get everybody off the streets who are feeling like they have any dealings with this drill movement. Like when they talk about KI, when they talk about Can't Get Right, when they talk about Boss Trail, like these are kids that were in my house every day. I would not know Tuka. I would not, well, I knew Tuka's mom. I grew up with Tuka's mom, but as far as our kids playing together, I wouldn't know nothing unless Duck or Brick brought these babies around me. So they gravitated to me and I got close with them and I gave them things to do to keep them out of trouble, to keep them off the streets, regardless of what. Back then, Twitter was going up with, KI and Vine and Brick and Duck. They even brought up old Twitters of mine from my old Twitter page. I'm arguing with somebody named something, but he from 600 something. And I'm looking and I'm going, they pulled them up. One of the blogs found the tweets. And so I'm like, I really was in this shit for real because this is from 2012 and I'm sitting up here defending my kids with somebody I don't even know. So I've always done that. This is nothing new. Like I just feel like as a parent, you want to keep your child's legacy of alive when you know he meant well.
Mm. Do you feel like, because it's one of them things where, Brick, he passed away in the hood.
Yes.
Duck passed away
On
in a
Oprah
very
Winfrey block. Yeah. It's a big
exactly.
difference.
So do you feel like Brick, it wasn't really a priority to get that murder solved because of where it happened at?
Not to the police, but it was always a priority to me because before they allow it to go cold, I was at the police district that like I was in there. Like, what's going on? What's up? I bought them donuts, brought them coffee, and then it's like they're telling me, well, the witness rekindled and the witnesses don't want to come forward. So I wasn't there. So I can understand how people are scared to come forward and say stuff because they fear of retaliation from the people that did it or something like that. But I never could get that aspect. It's like these kids get snitching confused, I think, because my definition of snitching from where I come from is you and a buddy or a rapper, y'all go on a hit or y'all do something illegal, and one of y'all get caught and tell on the other.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't understand how you snitching when you see somebody hurt or kill your loved one and you don't say nothing. I'm not the type to believe in street justice. It's a bunch of bullshit. Because as a mother, who are you to think you God and take my child? So I never was with the street justice shit. My heart just ain't that cold. I don't know. I'm a God fearing person. My heart is not that cold. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. I really apply these rules in my life. So um, I was determined, okay? And it probably would have got solved because I wasn't letting up. But with Duck, Brick wasn't influenced in the music like Duck was. He was musically because he got a lot of stuff that he showed people he could do this stuff too, but Duck really looked up to his brother as a leader. Like Rick was more of a leader, a protector. Like he was the big brother. He was the firstborn. Okay. We only 15 years apart. So me having
Right.
him, I grew up with him. I'm learning
Mm-hmm.
myself as I'm learning him. So he was more like a baby brother. Can you understand
Mm-hmm.
what that?
Yep.
But he never saw me no less as his mama. He was
Exactly.
never disrespectful. Like I was his queen. Like I can remember when he went to Vegas and he came back with this beautiful emerald jewelry. And he could have gave it to his girlfriend. But guess who he brought it to? His
You.
mama. He brought it to me. He had $31 worth. He had some currency money, some foreign money, and back then my bank was taking foreign money. So he say, "Huh, mama, I don't care what it is, you can have it." We going online, so it's looking like the money worth 1,500. So I'm like, "Ooh, I can have it." He say, "No, just give me $400. You can keep the rest." I get to the bank, it's $61 worth of foreign money. I say, "Brick, this ain't no money." He say, "Keep it, ma. Don't even worry about it. Just keep it." That was their mentality. They saw my struggle. My babies wanted nothing for me but just chill.
Mm-hmm.
They figure my heart, my life, as short as I've lived it, like the little last years that they saw me struggle and what I've accomplished, they were proud of me. And I was so like accomplished. It was me and my babies against the world, say cheese.
Mm.
Against their daddies, against whoever. So
You mentioned Ki. You said Ki was in your house very often.
that's my
Um,
baby. That was my
and
baby.
when you go on YouTube, you see documentaries like The Deadliest Female Op, the real Chaos story. King Von and her going back and forth, all these different documentaries about her having 9 bodies, 10 bodies, 6 bodies. Who was Ki to you? Did you ever see that side of her?
Never, never. I know she was she was my daughter's best friend, okay? And they were like this. So Kyra was at my house a lot, okay? The anniversary of my daughter, because they were killed a month apart in the same year. My daughter's anniversary is March 12th of my twin passing, my 3-year-old twin that I lost in a fire. And Kyra was killed a month after that. So she was with me. She was around me. Like the twins was the mascot of the house, of the STL house. The twins, they was, so when we lost the twin, it kind of brought us closer. Like this baby would come cry on me and she'd be like, Mama Sheena, you strong. You gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of encouragement that I got from her. She was a bug, okay? A murderer? No, no. She was a tough ass little girl, okay? And yes, Von did like her, had a crush on her. Yes, he did. You know what I'm
So
saying?
you're confirming that.
And then I say, how's you liking a stud? It was weird to me. How you got a crush on a stud? How you want a stud? It gotta be something else, okay? So
You a trip.
when it just came out, like, and I'm seeing how her and Von going back and forth and he flirting with her, and you know what I'm saying? I can honestly say I didn't know none of them babies personally who Duck was into it with. I didn't know Von personally. I didn't know OD personally. I didn't know T-Roy personally. I didn't know none of these babies. I just knew that somewhere down the line that my kids were entwined with that mix. Okay, you
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, there are a lot of documentaries claiming, and I'm only saying this because it's already public information, but it's a lot of people who are saying that King Von allegedly he murdered Ki. And this is just YouTube, the blog talk, the street talk.
Well, a lot of that information is accurate, put it like that. I ain't gonna tell you which one is which, but a lot of that information is so accurate, so whoever they getting their resources from, they hitting it on the nail. Sometimes I look at that shit and I be like, how do they know this? You know what I'm saying? How do they know all this? Somebody is telling these people this stuff, okay? Because a lot of them bloggers, they be dead on, and then a lot of them just be chasing it, baby, for real. Like, to think that this baby killed 18 people. And I wouldn't, like, underestimate nobody, okay? But they come at me all the time. Duck wasn't innocent. Duck, you act like Duck was innocent. I know for a fact Duck ain't killed nobody. I don't care what nobody say. Now, I'ma say this. Brick, on the other hand, I don't know. It never came to me. But I can see somebody saying Brick doing this and Brick did that. That's why I don't really talk about Brick that much, because people don't want the story behind Brick, okay? Like, his name wasn't Brick for nothing. Hard as a rock, baby. They didn't want the story behind Brick. But because Duck was so influentially out there, positively, I speak on both of my kids a lot. I don't understand how people could try to distinguish the two or make me feel like I love one of my kids more than I love the other one.
Exactly.
That don't make sense to me. But that's them. And I'm sorry if y'all mamas ain't standing up for y'all. I'm sorry if y'all mamas let people bully y'all. But it's always been me and man. And anybody who know me know that. So
another friend that comes around on the blogs that was affiliated with your sons, 051 Melly.
Oh,
And he has a lot of documentaries about him too. And he seemed to be really respected in Chicago. Did he ever come by the crib and stuff as well?
him and Duck, one day I came in the house and they were playing cards at my table. And Duck, when it come to me, Duck and Brick never brought just anybody around me because they know how I'm coming. They know I'm hardcore. They know I'm going to give it to them in a raw. And a lot of people can't deal with it. You know, I'm a different cut, like seriously, and I give it to these kids in a raw. Like tough love. I don't sugarcoat nothing. And I have to explain to them. Only a person who take time to tell you when you fucking up, those are the people that care about you.
That's right.
Anybody that overlook it and just allow you to be the way that you think you should be, they don't care about you.
That's right.
So it's like
Did did you, because they call 051 the grave digger of Chirac. Did you know him that much? Did you ever see that side of him?
I can honestly say when that baby was around me, he felt comfortable. He felt, because he around our family. And then I looked at the history. I was friends with his mom. Um, we were Facebook friends, but she passed away. So,
Mm,
you know what I'm saying? I didn't know that until after he passed away. And I looked him up on Facebook and I tapped his mom name and I say, shit, we've been friends on Facebook for a long time, but no, they never show that side, okay? You can be around the infamous killer ever, but when they be around the fam, we don't see that side of our kids, okay? It's like they street life and their home life is totally different because they feel like when it comes to that street life, they have to do whatever they have to do to survive, okay? Versus being at home in a home life environment, you feel free, you feel comfortable, you feel like you're eating, you getting that motherly love, you getting that family love. So it's like, no, I've never seen that side. I can honestly say I was only around like I only seen him probably once or twice
okay.
because of Duck. Like I didn't see him, like know him. He was not like one of the kids that grew up around me.
Right.
But because Duck brought him around me, I figured he was an all right dude.
Hmm.
I don't really know their relationship, but I know they didn't have any problems with each other.
Well, let me ask you this: which one of Duck's friends could you say are the realest people who come to you genuinely trying to help you out, trying to help out your family? Which one of Duck's friends would you say was his realest friends?
Well, lately, I mean, since he's been gone, it's the ones who he gang them, who he did it for the gang. And I'm gonna be honest, nobody,
Mm.
nobody he's established a relationship from 63rd. Nobody. It's like the people that he trusted took from him.
And this
Oh,
is after he
after he
left.
died, like his song like that got sold to the label after his death. And the money proceeds were supposed to go towards Duck's funeral. We still haven't received it. So when I called to, it's like this, like everybody was in their feelings. I think a person, they was mad because I got my son cremated. I didn't put him in no cemetery because I don't plan on staying here. So whenever I pack up and leave, I'm taking my babies with me. They're gonna
Right.
go everywhere I go. So that was the reason. And also he was the most disrespected rapper. Like I'm not finna come visit my son's grave and scrape shit off his grave or so I wasn't gonna do that. You know, we talked about this. This is, you know, he didn't want to get put in no dirt neither. You know, this is something that me and my kids discussed. So, um, when Lil Chris, Lil Chris, and this is just the name of couple, Bo Deal. These are people that have helped me. Jalen, um, Mikey Mike, who else? Um, Trey P. Like these are people that Duck affiliated himself with outside the label. Cause he wasn't working with nobody from the label. Like the label really dicked my son, okay?
So none of Duck's close friends, I don't want to say no names, but the inner circle that we know to be around Duck in the early stages of the drill scene, they didn't keep it real with you.
No. And I'm gonna put it out there, no.
No proceeds,
No,
no nothing.
nothing. And they feel like they don't owe me shit. It was even stated, we don't owe you shit. We don't owe you nothing. But everything my son did and built was for the game, for his homies. And this is the thing. And I'm tired of not saying speaking up on it, but no, even from the time from not saying that I hear from them, okay? Like the line, that's Dutchy. I hear from him. He calls me. He checks on me. You know what I'm saying? But I might hear from a couple of them, but financially, no. And they feel like they don't owe me nothing, which is fine. But just take, so to answer your question, no, no one that he's in his inner circle has did anything besides try to make me look bad on the internet, say that I'm chasing clout off my son, like like he wasn't a clout, or like I ain't the clout. I am the clout, bitch. So I don't gotta chase nothing. Okay? And that's just how I felt about that. But for them to get on the internet and try to and these are his homies. These are his friends, for them to get on the internet and try to make me look bad because of something that me and their father, because my beef was never with them. My beef was with their father, with Young's their father. This is the man who was like, had a lot to, not anything to do with Duck signing, but he was his manager. Okay. But what type of manager would sell your son's song to a label and don't give you the money, knowing that you needed to bury your son?
How much was the song? How much they sell it for? Do you know?
From what I've heard, it was sold for $14,000, like that.
And you didn't get a penny.
Not one red copper ass penny. Okay. Now, from what I've heard, that he told the label that he was going to give me the money for Duck's funeral. So he called me because when we left the hospital, I was saying that I'm not putting him in no ground. I was getting him cremated. So his response was, "What the fuck you getting him cremated for?" Because this is my son. So like the next 3 days down the line, I hadn't even made Duck arrangements yet. But he called me and say, "I left $8,000 at the funeral home. That should be enough for you to cremate Duck." This was his attitude. This is how he was talking to me. So I say, I'm not even having Duck no funeral. Okay? So I guess he took that as if he actually took the money to the funeral home. He went back and got it. So about 3 days after that, when I needed the money, because I had to come up with the money because he wasn't insured or nothing. So I was able to come up with the money. So when I called him, this was before I had the money, and I say, Manny, we need the money. We need the $8,000. His response was, "Oh, I used it for something. I had to use it for something else." That was his response. And I never heard nothing back from him until his house got shot up. And these are kids who I consider my kids, okay? And these are kids who I know got kids that I love. So why would I be behind anything happening to your house? But the fact that he called me and say, all gloves is off, my house just got shot up, as if I had something to do with it, blew me. You know what I'm saying? So his intentions ain't been good since my son ain't been here. Okay. I dropped that He's Back album after Duck passed away. Um, it was took down because we got an email saying we are um releasing music from their artists and we don't have the rights to do it because that's their artist and we could be sued.
The label took it down.
Yeah, this email came from Barry and Sarah, who are the CEO and the A&R of Record Scope. So I'm wondering, like, how can y'all take down music or think y'all have rights to music that y'all don't even know about? That none of you put, none of your producers produce, none of your studios put forth effort to record him. He did all that on his own. Lil Chris, Trey P was a producer. Lil Chris was a producer. Like, these are people that he worked with on his own without the help from the labels. So I feel like it was kind of a kick in the ass for them to claim the rights to some music that they don't have nothing to. Like, I feel like y'all picked y'all song out for the album. Why y'all ain't dropped it yet? They still have Duck's album. Okay? They still have obligations to pay him. He was still owed $800,000 that he never received. So if y'all ain't pay out, this is what I don't understand. If y'all ain't pay out y'all agreement, or maybe y'all did, so who owes y'all? That's where I'm lost at. So that's why I'm trying to get to the bottom of things. I just want to be able to drop my son's music on my own label, Big Clout Entertainment, that my son Sheldon Lewis has gotten established. I just want the rights to be able to put my son's music out without being stopped or blackballed or railroad. Like, why haven't they dropped the album yet? The reason they didn't drop the album when they supposed to drop it, they shelved it. And from what I heard, that it wasn't hardcore enough for the industry. You know, whatever album that they picked out, so he was coming out with From the Heart. That was the name of his album. I want to still be able to drop that. Because this music that I got of my sons, oh my goodness. And I'm not giving it to them unless they sit down with me at the table. None of that has even took place. Like, the fact that he was trying to get all my son music from people after he died. Why do you want his music? What is your purpose? That's them the answers to the questions I need answers to.
Right.
Them the questions I need answers to.
Now, you know Wooski very well, right?
Very well. Very well.
The Dusky funeral, were you there?
Yes. Rolled up under the funeral car and everything. Had my daughter with me. And it's so ironic because it's crazy. True story. I kid you not. Long live Fat Shorty. I promise you. We coming out the funeral. And my words to him was, and this is no bullshit, say cheese. I looked at Fat Shorty and I say, y'all Fat Shorty, y'all antennas up? Because this I used to talk to him. I used to be like up front with him. I'm like, y'all antennas up? Y'all know they shoot up funerals. And the minute I walked up from him, that first shot went off. I hit the dirt. I hit the ground. Then I hear like another round. Boom, 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 boom. Now I'm rolling up under the funeral car where the casket is. I got scrapes, knees scraped up. My daughter with me seemed like she ran towards where the shoot was coming from. So now I'm like, oh no, like 8 people got shot. Wooski got shot, but it wasn't You know what I'm saying? From what I seen, Wooski ain't get shot by nobody. A bullet hit the ground and hit Wooski in the head. He wasn't shot dead on in the head. A bullet hit the ground and hit him in the head. Okay? So I was there. I seen it. You know what I'm saying? So all this internet stuff about and people rapping and saying, oh, you got shot in the head and all this. Wooski, they don't even know what Wooski finna do, baby. God ain't done with Wooski yet.
That's what I was about to ask you because I see, NBA Youngboy just mentioned his name in the
Yes.
record, and I'm hearing that they may have a song coming
I
soon,
don't know,
or
but I want to reach out to Youngboy myself and see if he'll get on one of these open verses that I got of duck music. You know what I'm saying? If you're listening, young boy, hit Mama Duck up. I got some heat for you. Only if you want to work. Only if you want to contribute to the cause of keeping Duck's name alive. I'm asking you to hit me up, young boy, and let's talk. Let's get on. Let's hop on some of this FBG Duck shit.
right? Because we found out about Wooski through Duck, and Wooski dropped Computers 4 years ago,
Yeah.
26 million views. Is do you blame that record on why he was so hated?
Yeah, all the music. Duck so hated for dead bitches. Yes, it's a stigma that carries with them from when they drop this shit. Yes, you're gonna get that type of narrative. Um, People are gonna judge you and dislike you off of the content of music that you make. You know what I'm saying? Wooski can really rap though. Wooski is really talented. Okay.
He is.
And motherfuckers think that little disability, like, I can honestly say he's not the same, and that could be a good thing. He's better than ever. He's better than ever.
A lot of people are upset with the baby right now. He released a tape with Young Boy, and a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but you know, certain people from O Block and in the music industry, they feel like the baby picked his side because he did a joint tape with Young Boy. What's your thoughts on people coming at the baby right now?
Shit, it's the same. Ain't no different from Pooh Shiesty getting on shit a duck. It ain't no difference from uh the Florida rapper Queso talking about he's smoking on Duck Duck. They didn't know Duck. It's all about the money to the baby. He ain't finna let nobody, and that's what it's about. It's about the bread. Motherfuckers taking this shit personally. But I don't blame baby. I don't feel he picking a side. If he picking a side, it's the money side. See, when motherfuckers do broke, when they used to doing broke nigga shit, they keep a broke nigga attitude and mentality. Anybody that see beyond being broke don't think like that. Only people that know they gonna stay broke have that fucking mentality. Okay? So it ain't no different from um, them jumping all on Vine shit when it came to dissing Duck and Brick. It ain't no different from the mainstream rappers uh, jumping on shit of Duck and all that. What's the problem? But see, my take on it is they ain't think a motherfucker as big as them would do that. So Duck shouldn't even been your op after that shit happened to Vine. Why are you study coming at Duck? Why would you drop shit of Duck? He ain't the reason Vine not here no more. So that's my thoughts on that. Like, I can't understand that, but I'm talking too much and I'm getting this shit that don't concern me. Anything surrounding my kids concerns me. And I'm gonna speak on it if I can. I don't give a fuck who don't like it. I don't care who mother don't speak for their kids. That's on them. That's where they got to find their place to get enough strength to speak for their babies. But I'm not finna allow it. I'm cut different, say T.
When Duck passed, Famous Dex went to the internet crying. I interviewed King Yella about that, and he wasn't feeling it. He felt like Famous Dex was clout chasing. When Famous Dex blew up, he never reached back to FBG Duck to put him on that ladder. When you seen that, when you seen Famous Dex get on the internet, what was your thoughts?
He really messed up. You know, I came home one day and like I say, all the kids used to be at my house. And Dex, I don't know if he was on the floor or on the couch, because I used to step over their ass. Like this how they used to be all over my house, sleep. And I'd be like, now who is this? Now where the hell he come from? And Dex will hop out like, I'm Dex, mama. I'm Dex, mama Shane. So it's like all the duck hype men, I grew to love. Everybody that Duck brought around me, I felt that Dex was sincere. I felt because of Duck, and this is my personal opinion, why he got so caught up in the abyss of everything that was going on with him. You know, Dex was sincere, regardless of him getting on and not look. That shit was beyond that. I'm quite sure him and Duck talked about whatever they had going on, and Duck wasn't like that. Like Duck was the one, he wanted everybody to eat. And he didn't get mad at you because if you got on first, you ain't put it. He was proud that he was able to put you in that spotlight so that you are able to eat. That's all he wanted. That's the type of mindset and heart that he had. He wanted everybody in his circle to eat. That's why I'm feeling some type of way as his mama, because he want to make sure everybody else eat and I'm getting shortchanged. That's just my fucking opinion. But I ain't gonna be selfish like that because I know everybody that that was hands on with my son for him to be better.
Now, do I always wonder, seeing you on the internet, because you're still in Chicago, is it a certain way you move now? Because now you're a public figure. Everybody knows who you are.
I just go out on faith. Like everywhere I have went, I be by myself. Like I don't have security or nothing like that. No, I can't wait till I'm able to pay. So I just be low key staying in the house, okay? Or I will have family members with me or people who are legally able to carry guns. Like I don't want no smoke with nobody. I'm just advocating for the grieving moms. So if somebody want to hurt me, like shame on them. You know what I'm saying? But the way this world is built, they not can. They feelings validate their morals. So they're not caring. They just working out feelings. Okay.
Yeah.
But I
When I
just
knew Duck was different, when I knew he was a different breed, man, was when he dropped Chicago Legend.
so proud of him. Like when I, as a mother, from coming from where he came from, that took guts, that took balls. He didn't care about what nobody was gonna think of him for doing it. He clearly said it. He his own man. He do what he wanna do. He say only real niggas gonna feel this. And you know what? When he dropped that video, and the first comment I saw was G Herbo comment. And he say, this shit sickening. I say, there it is, baby. You was the first to do it because I used to always tell him, the first person that initiated gonna be the boss. Cause a lot of them thinking like, oh, you a hoe. You want peace? He ain't want peace. He didn't care if them niggas wanted to war it out or not. He worried about them babies that's suffering. Them babies that's growing up without their parents. Them babies that he would take in consideration if he saw you with your babies. He ain't that mad enough to kill you with your babies or try to kill you with your babies. He was definitely cut different. And that's what they don't understand.
Yeah, because that's never happened before in the drill music scene history, where somebody as a public figure is shouting out, his ops and the
Paying
deceased
homage,
and
paying
paying homage.
homage, paying homage, extending the olive branch. They ain't want it. They ain't want that. So after Von made Take Her to the Old, mentioning his brother, even so far as getting the duck look-alike in the video, Mixing and he pulling up to the alley by the park, which described where I lived at. You know, it was a lot of things that made him go back into that light. But I wish he wouldn't have listened. I wish he would have just kept staying on the path that he was on. But he got detoured because his pride was everything to him. And I say, you gonna drop that song? And his response, they keep doing it to me. They keep mixing in my brother. Yeah, I'm gonna drop it. So it was kind of like his feelings was into it. They were hurt. And the only way that he felt he can fight back was drop that song.
You feel like the Dead Bee song that was the cause of everything?
Why exposing me ain't get him killed? He made that 2 years before he made Dead Mixes, and he mixes the same people. So why didn't that song get him killed? I just think it was just a matter of time. Like they didn't care apparently where they seen him at. If they had the opportunity, they was gonna take my baby out. Not thinking about the consequences behind them, unless they thinking they untouchable. Like it's cool to go on Oak Street and just kill somebody in broad daylight and get away with it. No.
Duck, after he was shot, he was still living for 22 minutes. Um, you know, when I talk to people from Chicago, they always tell me how the police are slow to respond. Um, you know, do you ever look back and think, you know, they could have saved him?
They could have. I mean, if he out on the ground for 17 minutes waiting on somebody to help him after 22 shots in the hospital only 3 minutes away, you tell me, what would you think?
Mm,
Your last words is saying, I'm shot. Y'all not gonna help me?
mm.
But they rather worry about the crowd versus getting my son off the ground and getting him the medical treatment that he needs.
Reports came out that O Block is being sold. Parkway Gardens is being sold. How do you think that's going to affect Chicago?
With O Block being sold, I mean, it ain't the resident, it's the elements that live in it. So O Block can be stayed, they can move see, it ain't about who gonna buy it, it's about getting the wrong elements up out of there and try to rebuilding it. You know what I'm saying? It's hysterical. Michelle Obama lived in O Block. Wade stayed in O Block. So it do has a historical sense behind it, but it's not O Block, it's not Parkway Gardens itself. It's the elements that roam through it.
Hassan Campbell, y'all have you spoke to him since y'all back and forth?
I don't know that man. I never see that man. He don't know if I'm a man or a woman. I don't see how he can just get on his platform and discuss somebody he never reached out to. He never tried to get any insight, never tried to get any receipts on anything, just to follow the narrative of the internet, just to judge me off the internet. We were on Clubhouse, right? And he was speaking on Duck's life. Like, he say he been a demon since he was 12 years old. I can just imagine that. And that wasn't even a concept of the song. He meant since 2012. Okay, not since he was 12 years old. So he knew not what he was talking about from the gate. Okay, he just basically, he's dealing with a lot of demons himself. You know what I'm saying? And I just, I don't know if he's a God-fearing man, if he believes, but I think he should give all those inner demons and issues to God before he could try to get on any platform and validate somebody's life and their parenting off what they see on the internet. I'm a person that goes straight to the source. If I like say cheese, if I'm able to reach you and some shit going on, I'm not finna take bits and pieces off the internet and make my own narrative. I'm gonna go straight to the source and ask the questions that I want to ask. And if you don't want to ask them, then I will speak on that. Facts, receipts. That's what make a good web journalist. Having facts behind everything that you're stating and you're saying. He did none of that. He went on the internet. At first, I was a horrible mother. Then when them people got on his ass, he apologized only to get back on his platform and degrade me again. Like, so it's okay. I want to thank Hassan Campbell too, because any publicity is good publicity. So because he has spoken on me in such a negative light, people have really reached out to me, concerned people that got the real commentary, which is totally different from what he's displaying on his platforms. So, you know.
Yeah, he went around saying you were laying up with the ops or something like that.
Where you get this information from? Off the internet, from a clout chasing ass motherfucker who trying to get recognized. Excuse my language. Yeah. Who been chasing clout, who still ain't on nothing after mentioning me and my son. He's still secluded in that sheltered ass house that he live in. He's supposed to been in movies. I ain't seen that woman. Like everything this man has did to like, who puts a baby that died in a fire in a song and call him rotisserie chicken? I never met this man. I don't know this man from a can of paint, but he was chasing it so bad that he did that. So, slept with Duck Ops? Who? I would never do that. Who is Duck Ops? In order for you to be one of Duck Ops, you have to know them or intertwine with them or have some type of beef with him. That boy never even seen my son.
Mm-hmm. Now, clout, right? Everybody's saying the word clout now. Everybody.
I invented the clout.
You invented the clout.
I birthed the clout. Okay, he ain't big clout for nothing. Okay. So for somebody to sit up there and tell me I'm chasing clout because I'm keeping my son's name alive, they can kiss my entire you know what. That's what I feel about them.
Yeah, because I mean, Clout Boys, nobody was really saying clout for real until, FBG Duck, Lil J, that whole movement.
That's
The
what
Clout
I thought
Boys.
the same thing. But I'd be wrong. I'd be chasing clout if I said it, won't I? Like everybody was doing, when I heard the Migos say we're doing this shit for clout, we're doing it, I was like, okay. Cause I ain't hear clout as much until Duck started calling himself Big Clout, or, Lil J was the clout lord. Like, and speaking of Lil J, he will be home soon. Shh, don't say nothing. Don't tell nobody. Say cheese.
Yep, he will. I've been in contact with him as well. Last question before we get out of here. NBA Youngboy seems to be blackballed in a certain stance. He doesn't get on certain playlists. He's not invited to certain shows. He doesn't get a lot of the things that other artists get. And I feel like Duck was kind of the same way. I feel like them two have a lot in common.
That's why it would be only right if he got on one of these songs to show the edge, because the underdog always win. They not fucking with NBA Youngboy. That boy, what, 20, 21, 22?
21, yep. 22.
And then accomplished everything that these so-called moguls then did in 10 years. Numbers don't lie. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So they speak for itself.
Yeah. If you look, Youngboy has a billboard in Chicago, and I think Dirk has a billboard in Louisiana. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen the Youngboy poster, but when I do see it, I'm going to definitely post up outside that motherfucker and take some pictures like this. Nah.